I've been allowed behind the scenes and come down to the stables today, and I have to say they are fantastic facilities, but we are jumping on grass today, and when you're jumping on grass, riders use studs. Now what are studs? Well, we've got Fernando here to talk all about studs and why we stud up horses, but so lovely to have you here, first of all. Why do we stud? Why do you stud your horses?
Well, we always stud when we are jumping on the grass because we don't want to slip on the turns or before the jumping or after the jumping. So yeah, there's different shapes, different sizes of studs, and depending on the grass field, we just choose which sizes we're going to use, also depending on the horse.
So you've got us some studs here to have a look at, and I'm just going to bring them up here. Loads of different shapes and sizes. Let's just talk through some of them and what they do before we discuss what you're going to do.
Perfect. I think, okay, normally these big bullets you only use when you're like in no fashion grass arena, which we barely see anymore. So, but when it's really wet, really muddy, we can use these ones. But yeah, those are really big. I don't recommend it too much. Normally, the most normal studs we use in the grass fields are these medium ones, in front and behind. They're medium studs, kind of small. And if you really want to don't slip, you can put a third hole in the back, in the hind end, and you can use these ones or these skinny ones. So
they're very different shapes, aren't they, as well? When you're deciding on the studs, what elements of the grass are you thinking about? Is it how wet it is? Is it how fast you want to go?
I think it depends in three different things. One is, of course, how competitive you're going to go. If you're going to turn tight and all that, you don't want to risk it. You don't want to risk a slip. So you might go a little bit bigger. If you have a horse that is a little bit cold in the jump, a little bit sticky to the ground, not so light off the ground, then you don't want to put something big because he's going to be a little bit more stuck on the ground, you know. But if you have a horse with a lot of blood that shoots a little bit or whatever, and if you put something bigger, it can help to back him off a little bit, to make him a little bit slower, you know. So it also depends on the horse and how competitive you're gonna go.
So what are you going to be doing today then?
I will use just the medium. It's a really good grass arena with sand underneath. So yeah, I don't think it's worth to do something big. I will use these ones behind and these ones in front, which are the same size.
But it's not just about which studs you're going to use, it's also how many you use. Some people have 2 behind, 3 behind. What's the norm? What are you doing today?
I think that also depending a little bit on the canter of the horse, but more how the riders are used to doing it and they don't risk in a class, in an important class, so you can go with the 3 behind. I've always gone with 2.
Some people might wonder as well how these actually go into a horse's shoe, and it doesn't go into their actual hoof, it gets almost screwed into their shoe.
Right, yeah. Okay, normally you just screw them in.
The shoes actually have the holes in it already for the studs to go into the shoes, so all you have to do is clean out the hole.
Exactly, that's right. And this one is just to give a little bit to clean really the sides, you know, to screw it in, like if you're gonna put the stud, so it's really clean. And then you just gotta put the stud and tighten it a little bit with this, not really tight, just a little bit with this.
Well listen, it's so interesting to come down to the stables, actually see what all the different options you've had. You've got a whole stud box here as well. Every rider will have a stud box as well with lots of different shapes and sizes, depending on the weather, depending on the ground. But Fernando, that was really brilliant to chat to you, and massive good luck as well.
Oh, thank you.